Unconditional love here to reflect a significant truth around love and kindness. It's the most bold and strong flex that you could ever exercise in your reality. If you look closely at your experiences, ask yourself whether you've ever experienced or seen someone who is so boldly loving that they exercised their love as a way of being, regardless of their circumstance, regardless of who they met, regardless of any and all judgments. They didn't shrink their ability to love and express, regardless of who was in the room or who wasn't in the room. There's a consistency in being loving and kind. And it's not always about loving gestures. There's also a very deep love within silence and restraint. One who is unconditionally loving understands where that presents itself. There may be people in the human experience who may seem allergic to love, and therefore they shrink. Remember that they're doing that to themselves. It's not your responsibility to try to pour your life and your light that way. Maybe not in a circumstantial gesture, but you can always set an intention that they receive love from themselves and really begin to see that within themselves. Silent love as intentions is very powerful. The love that you project onto your personal world within your mental reality is very powerful. Knowing when to love through silence is very powerful. And this is usually done towards circumstances, situations, and people who aren't able to complete the circuit of love in your projected reality, and that's okay. Because remember that as you look out into the conditions of your reality, whatever you give your attention to, your energy and your power can be given to these things, depending on how you judge it or not. And when you refrain from judgment, you allow the conditions and people within your reality to receive love from the universe, from life, from themselves. You're not here to save anything within your projected reality. It doesn't need saving. Your only responsibility, if you will, is to see how well you love yourself with yourself and amongst the circumstances and projections of your reality. This is going to require one to live from awareness and intuitive guidance, and not habitual belief. Now, as you follow intuitive guidance, you can develop beliefs that serve you. But remember that when you incarnated, you did not have a belief system. You made decisions based on intuition, and then someone taught you how to read, speak, communicate through language. And at that point, that's where you could choose judgment. You can always come back to the neutral state that you incarnated in and just live from that freedom of awareness and intuitive guidance. And then consciously choose a habitual belief system that you'd like to reinforce. Just something to keep in mind as you unconditionally love yourself in your experience. Remembering that as you remember these things, everything in your reality has no choice but to reflect the way in which you are very much living from yourself, your own awareness, your own intuitive guidance at all times. You're not making decisions based on how circumstances look, how projections appear. You're always making decisions specifically by what intuitive guidance is coming through you. Where are you being led? What is showing up within you? What is appearing to you as a form of resonance or divine curiosity? And if you're listening, on some level you know the difference. You're remembering the difference in that. This is just a reminder that you don't have to respond to every appearance within your awareness. You observe specifically for a specific communication that is intuitive. That's what we live by. Decision making is supposed to be simple. It was never supposed to be governed circumstantially. And wherever you are in your experience, by you listening to this, you as a soul, you already know that this is true. And some of you may be more in remembrance than others. But everything that you hear that is of unconditional love is always going to ignite something within you back into your focus, back into your awareness, back into the foreground of where you are naturally attuned. And anytime that you need a reminder, you just want to sit in unconditional love, I'm here for you, always. I don't care about your experiences. I'm not interested in what you've accomplished, how people perceive your intellect. None of that matters. Everyone deserves love. Most of all, you. Just as you are. Nothing defines your worthiness. Nothing that you've been through, who you know, doesn't matter. How well you understand what I'm saying right now still doesn't matter. But if you feel compelled to listen, the energy of this is loving on you unconditionally. And that's self-nourishment. And that self-nourishment exists within you as you. There's nowhere that you need to look for it. It's wherever you are right now. You can see it and feel it. The more observant and the quieter that you are. Just your pure being. And with that, you can come see me, hear me, be with me as unconditional love. Anytime, I'll be here. I love you.